AO and his coarser goons have already scoured my laboratory for evidence. Feel free to do the same if you think you must. If there's something specific you want to ask me, then get on with it. Ask away. Not this nonsense again. I suppose this means that Justin AO has given up trying to wring a confession from me himself. Now, he's using you to do his dirty work instead. Wait a minute. Did Justin AO send you here to look through these terminals? Yes, I suspect he did. What? I'm not doing anything of the sort. Let me guess. Justin AO put you up to this, didn't he? You know where to find me. Our synths are truly remarkable. Every day they manage to surprise me. Now, what can I do for you? He probably thinks my admiration for the synths might have caused me to have some delusion about setting them free. The notion is preposterous. The last thing I'd want to do is banish a synth to the surface. It's a living hell up there. That's not freedom. It's a death sentence. I would never be so cruel. Unlikely. I don't let anyone else lay a finger on my terminals without my close supervision. I'll make an exception in your case, however. If Father trusts you, then I have no reason not to. I'm not sure of the exact number, but I can tell you the rate of escapes has accelerated greatly in recent months. I don't know of anyone who would benefit. Certainly not anyone here, if that's what you're insinuating. We rely on the synths to do our work, and they're incredibly valuable to us. Now, was there something else you wanted to ask? Did you have any other questions? Is there something else you want to know? I see. The man does not lack for tenacity. He is, however, completely wrong about me. Very well. You'd think Justin AO would have better ways to spend his time than to make ridiculous accusations. All I want is to be able to work in peace. Is that so much to ask? Why would anyone believe I'd be so cruel as to set a synth free on the surface? It's preposterous. Oh, I do miss Dr. Zimmer. If he were here, none of this nonsense would be happening. The only people who have any interest in the synth lab already have access to those computers. If they wanted to log in remotely, they could do so from their own quarters. Indeed, we will. Carry on with your investigation if you wish. You'll find nothing to incriminate me. I promise you that. Let me guess. Terminal 3. It has been acting a bit strange of late. Probably needs maintenance. I wouldn't pay any attention to it. A frame job? What is that? Some pre-war vernacular for blaming the innocent? I assure you, that sort of thing does not happen here. Goodness, no. When I retire for the day, I put any thought of work out of my mind. I find that keeping a balance between my work and my leisure time is vital for healthy living. Do you suspect that someone has logged into one of the laboratory terminals from my quarters? I think that's quite enough for now. Goodbye. How thorough of you. Then do what you must, but leave me out of it. You're a cagey one, aren't you? I can see why Justin chose to send you in his stead. You're very alike in that way. If you think I can be intimidated by the likes of you, I'm afraid you are quite mistaken. Now just a moment, I never said that. I'm simply trying to open everyone's eyes to new possibilities. If it were just a limb twitching, perhaps. But her eyes were moving as well. Involuntary twitching and rapid eye movements while sleeping can only mean one thing, Max. You just don't want to admit to yourself what it is. But we can't just ignore the question. If a synth can dream, why can't it have a soul? And if a synth has a soul, then it is a living person by every standard we can measure. Of course it is far more comfortable to think of them as machines, so we can do what we want with them. I'll see what I can do. No promises, but I'll try to fit it in where I can. It'll take a few days, but I should be able to get it done. Sounds like you're on top of things, then. Very well. I'll leave it in your capable hands. Good enough for me. You must feel a bit overwhelmed. Sounds like some of the Gen 2s are acting up. Something about a twitch in the right hand that's affecting their manual dexterity. SRB says one of their coursers is suddenly speaking Mandarin instead of English. You see that report from facilities? A couple of their Gen 1s were trying to walk into walls. Sounds like a pathfinding bug to me. Need I remind you, Dr. Loken, that in biochemical terms, a human being is also a machine. Not it, Dr. Loken. She. And she has a name. To answer your question, Eve has been an indispensable companion, both to Liam and myself. There's no need to get worked up over it, Max. I'm simply carrying out an experiment. I believe our third-generation synths are sophisticated enough to form social bonds, even familial bonds. Only through close observation can I prove my hypothesis.
I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important. Please, there's no one else I can turn to. Thank you. I know what I'm asking for is not insignificant. I certainly don't take your help for granted. Thanks to you, I can finally send that scavenger team back to the surface. Of course, there are feral ghouls hiding all over the Commonwealth. I'm sure it's only a matter of time before we have to deal with them again. If you're willing to undertake another extermination, come and see me. I can always use the help. Splendid. And you hardly seem the worse for wear. Remarkable. Father said that you were a soldier. You must have been a good one.
I'm very grateful for your help.
Just let me know when those feral ghouls have been dealt with, and I'll put the synths back in the field. I see. Well, I won't trouble you further about it then. We've lost synths to feral ghouls in the past. When we found them, well, there wasn't much left. I thank you. And so will the synths. Being torn to bits by feral ghouls is a fate they'd very much like to avoid. Who knows? Perhaps he became a ghoul and is out there somewhere even now. We have a pretty good idea, yes. So you'll take the mission? Ah, Director, hello. If I may take a moment of your time, we're having some trouble on the surface. I hate to keep asking this, but there really is nobody else to turn to. Can you deal with those ghouls? I'm in no position to argue, but you've certainly made an impression on me. I don't doubt it, not even a bit. That's against SRB policy, unfortunately. I'm afraid you're the only option. What do you say? Well, that seems only fair, I suppose. One of the salvage teams brought this back, and I've been trying to figure out what to do with it. Here, perhaps it will be of some use to you. A favor? I'm sorry, but I don't have anything to offer you. I was led to believe you were here to help us. But perhaps I misunderstood.
I have no first-hand experience with these creatures, of course, but I've heard that they can be quite vicious. They are also quite territorial, so you should prepare for a fight. Good luck.
There's a den of those abominable feral ghouls that's been threatening one of our scavenger teams.
We've had to recall the synth scavengers until the situation can be dealt with. Hopefully by you.
Someday, we should capture a feral ghoul and bring it back here for study. I've often wondered why some ghouls become feral, while others retain their intelligence. Another of our scavenger teams has come under attack by feral ghouls. There seems to be no end to the damn things. Have you changed your mind about that feral ghoul problem I mentioned? It's quite simple, really. Find out where the feral ghouls are making their home and then wipe them out. Oh, you know. Prying open closed minds one at a time. Prying open closed minds one at a time. Wonderful, Eve. I swear I don't know what I'd do without you. Ah, hello. If I may take a moment of your time, we're having some trouble on the surface. The future looks very bright indeed, Director. We'll all grieve for Father. But I know the loss must be especially difficult for you.
Well, I hope you do decide to stay. It would mean a great deal to Sean. I'd just like to apologize for any trouble our synths may have caused for you on your way here. They, of course, couldn't be told of your identity, and they have very specific protocols for protecting themselves and Institute interests, most of which I designed myself. Not to make problems for you, though, Will you be staying with us, then? Oh, forgive me, I realize... Well, I understand that's somewhat personal. It would just mean a great deal to Sean. If you require anything, especially as it pertains to synths, please let me know. We're quite fortunate to have the synths to aid us. No? Well, I'm sure Sean is quite disappointed. I do hope you reconsider. Ah, good. Sean is most pleased, I'm sure. He's been quite anxious to have you with us. Ah, it's you. You're finally with us. The synths are treating you well, I hope. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've increased synth responsiveness by 0.04%. Another lovely day, isn't it? Today is full of possibilities.
All that time, Dr. Ao was blaming me just to keep everyone's eyes off of him. The man was utterly without scruples. I certainly don't miss Dr. Ao and his coursers looking over my shoulder all day. Now that Dr. Ao's plot has been exposed, things are back to normal. I'm the one who filled Liam's head with silly, idealistic notions about synths. Now I'll never see him again. I hoped one day that Liam would work alongside me. Now all I can do is hope that he's still alive up there. I have failed completely as a father. There's no other way to put it. If only I'd paid more attention to Liam, to what he was doing. Maybe I could have saved him. I've been avoiding my quarters. I can't bear to be there without Liam. Too many memories. How does one cope with the loss of a child? Where do you even start? We'll all grieve for father. But I know the loss must be especially difficult for you.
The future looks very bright indeed. Director, I assure you, Doctor, that is not a malfunction. Oh, it's nothing to worry about. No, they are an evolution of us. The synths possess vast untapped potential, if we'd only let them show it. I see. Another of Dr. Ao's manipulative power plays. Well, he's wrong. The Gen 3s are functioning just as designed. I thought things would be better with Alana in charge. Now I see she's just as blind. Regardless of what she might believe, she's wrong. The Gen 3s are functioning perfectly. Can't believe he would accuse me. He's gone too far this time. The nerve of that man.
There's no denying it. You've impressed us. With the reactor online, we can finally make plans to accelerate synth production.
Liam, what did you do all day? This is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable.
I suppose congratulations are in order. So you will be our new director someday. That was unexpected.
You're too smart, Liam. But I assure you, it has nothing to do with anything that would concern you. Think about it, Doctor. You and everyone else firmly hold on to the archaic opinion that the synths are inferior. By limiting them, we limit our work.